This is going to be a very, very special episode. Your host, O the Great, is on a medical sabbatical as he recovers from shoulder surgery. So, for the next hour, you're going to be hanging out with the gambling guru. And he's got a very special guest for you today, the star of such films as Down the Long River and many other great ones he's going to tell you about. Let me introduce you to Tanner Guerin.
Thank you for having me, Gigi. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
This
This
is
is awesome.
this is High Off the Glass, brought to you by Terp Junkies. And later on in the show, we're going to feature the Marijuana Minute with a very, very special guest. So, Oh the Great, one of the great podcast hosts of the last 10 years, is not going to be here for this very special day. But we're going to bring you the strongest commercially available joint made in Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 630 milligram joint. It is a 1 gram joint. It is sold at a ridiculous price of $30 in Oklahoma. I have never seen one pre-roll sold at that price. I asked the question, what is this? And they said it's going to get you pretty messed up. Get ready. It's made by Jay and Silent Bob. It's called Berserker. Tanner, do you think it's an indica or a sativa?
Oh, okay. With Berserker, honestly, all right, we're going to go with a little bit of a hybrid because if it's anything like Clerks, you do have a little bit of silliness there, but there's a nice chill factor to it. Nice classic feel.
This joint's made by Caviar Gold, and it doesn't say if it's an indica or a sativa on the
That's all
on the
right.
side.
It's like Dum Dum Pops. You either get something really good or you're gonna get like something that's just gonna leave a bad taste in your mouth. But either way, you had something in front of you, so you can't complain too much.
So are we ready? You ready to take the plunge?
Oh man, here we go.
Just for a reference, 600 milligrams. That's usually, a small amount of marijuana edibles are 10 milligrams, and they're commonly sold 10 milligrams for 10 little pieces of gummies, and that equals 100 milligrams. If you're a more experienced user like I am, you might require a higher dosage. I often buy quantities of 100 milligram gummies with 10 in a bag. Tanner, what's your experience with gummies? Have you ever taken a whole bag before?
A whole bag.
The whole bag.
So I take about 10 milligrams a day.
Okay.
Just
Nice.
because helpful to fall asleep to. I love going on runs, being a little stony. But the whole bag, no, because it's. I have taken a full 100 milligram gummy, and
What'd you think of a full 100 milligram?
oh, you can get those at Dispos all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah,
this one.
they give those away for like nickels at some place.
Yeah, actually, I had a friend that went to a weed festival at one point. You get so much free stuff there because people want you to try their product, but also they, well, I think they also care about you having a good time too. So, I think they had brought me back this 10 milligram, and it was incredible because I knew how much I would be taking in. I'm at home, right? Like I'm not going anywhere on this. And at one point, I'm in bed, and I know that I'm incredibly stoned. But I start reaching to hold on, and I'm like, what are you doing? There's nothing there. Yeah, but I'm high. Yeah, I know you're high. Put your hands down. And then the rest was, fine.
One time I bought a 4,200 milligram chocolate bar. It has
240.
24 individual pieces at 175 milligrams apiece. Okay. One time I just took a big bite out of it. I didn't know, how many little squares I was biting into, but I was just like, what's the limit? What's gonna happen if I just take a big bite? So, about an hour later, I was laying in bed, and I realized, oh, this is why people call the hospital and think they're gonna die. This was pretty intense. Everything around me vibrated, and I realized I'll be okay in about an hour.
Yeah.
It's time to ride this out.
Do you
I
have a
I stood up, I got myself some water, and the next hour and a half were a fun little ride.
do you have a calm down method? Like, do you have a calm down
I like
method for yourself?
I like to take a nap.
Nap?
Yeah,
That's a good
I
one.
need a nap if it's too much. But sometimes I'll get into some real physical stuff. I like to roller skate a lot. I used to play basketball so much, and honestly, an edible after that kind of stuff really helped inflammation. It helped arthritis, and I'm hoping this is gonna help the podcast.
Oh,
So this is
absolutely.
the equivalent of like 3 whole bags. Like if you smoke half of it, the whole thing is 6 whole bags, 600 milligrams.
All right.
Um, is there anything you like to say before you smoke a joint?
I like that it's a Jay and Silent Bob brand. Kevin Smith seems to be a reoccurring theme for me ever since I moved to St. Louis. I got to see Clerks 3 over at not the Tivoli, over at the pageant. He actually stopped into a store that I used to work at on my day off. So, great for me. So it's like there's these degrees of Kevin Smith around me in St. Louis for some reason. However, I can never get to the real thing, but that's okay. This is pretty close. Grazie.
I don't know what you just said. Something about Kevin Smith and 6 degrees of separation here in St. Louis. That sounds incredible, dude. I'm gonna need you to elaborate about that in just a moment, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
What
Oh,
an
that is.
interesting and unique
Oh,
taste, right? How do you describe that taste, Tanner? Take a big deep breath. What is that? It's like
it's
an aroma.
Christmassy.
Yeah,
It's very.
it's pine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
pine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
strong
little bit of
terpene.
like almost has like a gingerbread taste to it.
Yeah, with like a lemon cake kind of thing or something. Oh, this is.
It's very desserty.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering, how did Tanner and I meet? Last year, sometime in the early months of 2024, Tanner Guerin was cast as Emil Flores, a hitman for a gang ruthless and notorious for stealing gold all throughout Missouri in the year 1879. The movie is Down the Long River. It stars Matt Cardona in his official film debut, along with Felissa Rose, star of such films as Sleepaway Camp. Tanner
Mm.
was on set for several days and played a crucial role in the production. He has some incredible stories to share. And you might see some of these pictures of him on screen up here, walking through smoke, dealing with various things on set, and having a real good time and looking real good doing it. What kind of hat is that you're wearing there, Tanner?
It's actually it's funny. I was sitting off to the side one day, and I realized that the hat, because shout out to Kurt for all of the costumes and props, because they were insanely awesome. I looked inside the hat and I saw that it was actually, I think, a Jenner brand, and I was like, I love that we're taking that and we're actually turning it into something that I would find a little bit cooler. So, also, it's nice. I grew up on a movie called The Mask. It's very reminiscent of that hat. I think that's part of the reason why I like the kind of zoot suit outfit.
Yeah, the character Emil Flores is a throwback to a character in the Few Dollars More trilogy. The character is rarely seen, but is known by the main characters as a very dangerous threat. The writer and producer of this movie is a man named Kurt Aubuchon, local film actor who wanted to make his own movie. This movie, Down the Long River, is an incredible story. And Emil Flores is one of the most dangerous characters in the whole film. The film is set to premiere next year. Right now, it's in post production. I was the assistant director for the film, and I contacted Tanner Guerin sometime in June to confirm that he was going to be available to work in Warsaw, Missouri, several hours away from St. Louis. I have no idea where Tanner Guerin even lived. With a name like that, I assumed it was somewhere awesome. He was up to no good. And when I called Tanner and told him what kind of conditions we were expecting to face out there, he said he was up for the challenge. Tanner, what was the hottest day on set?
Hottest day?
Hottest day.
Hottest day.
We were in August, Missouri.
I'm gonna say around the second weekend that we did it. I would have said first day, second weekend. At one point, I'm pretty sure a lot of the fans went out in the cabin. We were scrambling to fix that. And it was a shame too, because like it was either hot or like the rain was keeping us from everything.
Yeah, what Tanner is talking about is we had a pretty elaborate generator system set up to where in between takes we could turn on several box fans, get some air circulating through a very dry room. These people were falling over left and right. We were handing them water bottles as fast as they could drink them. Everyone was sweating up a massive storm. Tanner also survived some of the late night shoots on this production.
Man.
In one of the more famous stunts of the movie, Tanner was at what? What was it, 2 a.m.? Do you remember?
So it's about 2 a.m. We've been going since, well, I got there at 8. I don't know how early you guys have gotten there.
7 a.m.
There you go. And
7 a.m. in the morning. It is now 2 a.m. the next day.
And I was a little overzealous. I think that, let's say if we had tried shooting it earlier, which why would we? It's a night shot. I think that like my nerves wouldn't have been so shot. Because what was it? It's 2 a.m. I think we got out of there around 3:30. And then the next day I had to drive all the way back to St. Louis, and it was just kind of like, well, I either fall right now or we can just kind of get some kind of shot, because I kept messing up the fall too. That's what kept putting us back.
We're not going to call it a fall. It's more like a stunt. I wouldn't say you messed up the stunt either.
It felt better to jump at the time.
So, Tanner was executing a stunt that takes place about 12 feet off the ground. And before he did the stunt, the director and the assistant director both jumped off and performed the stunt under the same conditions that Tanner would have to face them. And as the assistant director who did the same stunt, hey, spoiler alert, there's a jump involved. Ooh. And it was pretty scary. The darkness, okay, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of Missouri, in a very, very spooky little place called the Cumberland Gap. There were only 2 lights on for probably a mile and a half. And I don't know if you've ever heard a ghost story or not, but that's definitely a place where where a ghost story might happen. And it was one of the more harrowing nights of the production, I will say this. Tanner, thanks for joining us here today, man. Really, I really do appreciate you, Tanner.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is one of my all-time favorite days. Tanner is up here walking through smoke, right? You might not realize what it takes to produce things like this outside in a windy environment. But when you're actually on location, outdoors, with a very powerful smoke machine, it is unbelievable how much smoke it takes to even register on a normal photograph, much less, any kind of film equipment. Tanner, do you know how many fight scenes you had for this movie?
Ooh. 1 physical, 2 gun. Yeah, about 3. I think the physical one was a lot. I mean, that was this. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Let's give a shout out to the Brian Davis aspect of everything here. Brian Davis was our fight coordinator. How many months before production were you working on the fight scenes for this movie?
Let's see, we shot in August. We've probably been working on them since April, May at Brian's place. Yeah.
What we have up here is a rotating carousel of photographs from the production. The stills are by Tiffany Banks, our photographer on set.
Awesome photographer.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see some of her best images from Tanner Guerin on set. No spoilers, but you might see some people in the background that try and cause a little trouble for Tanner. Those two people, my goodness. Do you have any idea how prepared they were that day? I mean, this is a really complicated thing to talk about because we don't want to give anything away. But when there are multiple weapons involved, multiple people hitting the ground, dealing with the camera moving around, interacting, and actually being your character. There's so many things that go on, so many things that are involved. Tanner, what were some of the rehearsals like? You know, in the months leading up to the production.
That was great too, because I mean, you really had to figure out the weight of the weapons that you were holding, because especially if you're not used to doing fights, even just using the weapons as props, you kind of underestimate just how much you're just kind of flinging it around. So, you know, we were making sure that there was a lot of safety on that, a lot of very specific choreography, not just for our own safety, but we also knew that we were going to need to make sure that we hit certain spots for the camera itself.
Yeah, safety was very important on the set of Down the Long River. Oh no, keep going, keep going,
cool.
dude. How do you feel about this Berserker, by the way? We're about halfway through the joint.
It's comfy.
Impressions?
I think I understand why it's as expensive as it is. It is very smooth, but yeah, the flavoring, it's so specific and strong that I don't know about 35, but this is at least a $20 worth joint just based on those.
I'm always curious where they come up with these numbers. You know, like what exactly does this mean? Okay, all right, 600 milligrams of THC. All right, that's you know, I want to take the ticket. I want to see the ride. So during the rehearsal process, was this the first time you had met some of these actors? Is this the first time you had worked with Brian Davis as a fight choreographer?
Not the first time I've ever worked with Brian. We have a mutual friend named Josh Gray who does a lot of his own productions, and Brian's been involved as an actor with him, as a fight choreographer with him. I met Brian doing that, and when I found out that he was part of Down the Long River, I'm like, awesome, because he's awesome. He's tremendous to work with and talented as hell. It's not just fight choreography. Good actor. He can cook. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he had his own cooking show at one point.
That sounds really tasty.
He's got a good taste in whiskey, too.
So one of my favorite things about the movie is the friendships that you get to make on set and the interactions that you get to have with actors. And Tanner has been one of the most professional actors. And ironically, Tanner and I are the same size. During the scheduling process, someone noticed this, and it ended up saving us and Tanner a whole night of being in Warsaw because we really needed him to be there for one scene in the background. But that was really all we needed him to do was walk around and be in the background. So I got to stand in for Tanner that one day. And I'm still nervous. Just walking in the same shoes that he did. Oh gosh. How uncomfortable were those boots?
There was no...
You wore those for weeks.
So I had tried the boots on before we actually started shooting. I brought insoles. No, as soon as the costume fitting for that happened, I feel really cool in these. These look cool. But I'm not standing around in these all day. So, I mean, insoles helped out and felt better. Sorry, I probably should have said something.
Oh, that's pretty interesting, man, because while we were out there in production, everyone had to deal with the elements in their own way. There were a lot of, well, summer Missouri problems like ticks, um, mites, bugs, mosquitoes, and we all dealt with this in our own way. Me personally, after the second day, I chose to learn some of the use some of the lessons that I learned from the movie Predator. I wore chacos, which are uncovered, you know, shoes. They're basically just like little platforms with straps on them. They're hiking shoes. These chacos, my goodness, perfect, right? But what they needed was they needed mud. Just like any insect, any predator, they're looking for heat. So I would cover myself with mud, my legs. For 5 straight days, nothing. I felt like I was one with nature out there. An experience that's really unforgettable. Something that, well, I think few people could really want to go through. It was a true adventure. Some people say it was the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah. No, for real.
How how stoned do you think you are right now,
I'm
Tanner?
pretty stony.
Yeah, how stoned do you think I am?
Maybe a little more than that.
Oh, dude,
I don't know.
I think I'm blitzed right now. I'm not sure. We
It's okay. Hey, if you want to watch Predator after this, we can, man.
So real quick, top three movies, stoned.
Stoned?
Yeah, top three movies. You're
Ooh.
stoned. You're flipping through the channel. What do you see?
Okay.
What do you get interested in?
There are just certain movies that I have had stoned experiences with that I go back to because of those experiences. Babylon is one of those. If you've never seen Babylon, it's set in early Hollywood. I was with friends. We had watched it, and also just it's a fun movie.
Is that the Raquel Welch movie?
No, no. Margot Robbie, um, Brad
Oh
Pitt.
yeah, this is 5 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
newer one.
Yeah, very intense movie, by the way. If you can make it past the first 15 minutes, you're gonna love it.
Hmm. Um, I went to the
You ever seen a Jim Carrey movie? Like, what was the first time you saw a Jim Carrey movie?
the
Like,
Mask.
blitzed up.
Oh, Blitzed Up.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
The Masked. Okay,
No, it wasn't The Mask.
first time you saw it, like maybe approaching this stoned. What happened?
Oh,
Like, did
it's
you?
a Jim Carrey movie.
Sure.
If I'm gonna watch a Jim Carrey movie stoned, I'm gonna go with Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I like cartoons, and that's one of those that have been taken from Dr. Seuss, and I actually find pretty good. I don't really know about like the newer stuff.
You ever seen that movie Old School?
I have actually never seen Old School. No.
Oh, well, it at the time in the movie theater, I fell out of my seat laughing. It was so funny.
I
That
saw
movie Borat. My God, dude. I saw an old man fall out of his seat laughing at that movie. A lot of my stories feature a guy falling out of his seat laughing because my God, it was so funny. I've never seen anything like what was happening in Borat. And I brought White Castle in my cargo pants to the first midnight screening of Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle with the intent of eating the White Castle when Harold and Kumar ate the White Castle. Marijuana laws were so different then. My friend looked at me. He legitimately asked this question. What if there are cops there and they smell weed on us? I am still telling this story 20 plus years later because I didn't know how to respond. Maybe they would be there. Tanner, what are some of the ways that pot has helped you deal with things in a different way? You've grown up in a fairly recreational state most of your life, right?
I mean, growing up, it was probably always around, and I just never really noticed it. I really didn't start smoking until I was 17, and I didn't do it very often, and then I think once I got to Chicago, I had a little bit more access before it became legal. And two things that it has been the best thing for. Um, it makes listening to music so much more creative for me. I don't create music by any means. I like the thought patterns that I have when listening to music, and pot helps with that. And also, there's a lot of perspective one can get when being stoned. And I think, if you're using that in a healthy way and also being healthy on the outside, yeah, it's a nice double whammy for growth. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, a lot of people have that similar story of starting to smoke when they're about 17, 18, 19. Yeah, for me it was I was 18 that first spring break. I'll never forget it. I was on a beach. I didn't even know what it smelled like. It was great. Deering down the long river. What kind of cigarettes does your character smoke? I see him holding a cigarette here in a couple of these. Is that an actual cigarette there I'm seeing
Yeah.
coming out of his mouth?
No.
What's going on there?
What was it? Unfiltered Camels? Yeah,
Unfiltered
Unfiltered Camels.
Really?
What?
Unfiltered camels?
Everyone has some kind of smoking summer. That was my summer.
That was hey.
The first time ever having unfiltered cigarettes, and like I used to be a decent sized cigarette smoker, so it wasn't anything that I was against. Because I think at one point Harry had asked me at one point, our director Harry, he had said, he's like, you've been smoking them a lot. Like, am I like getting you into a cigarette habit? I'm like, no. I haven't like bought cigarettes in a long time, but I've always had I always go with, if you smoke them if you got them. Yeah.
Man. I don't know. Just take another puff. That's. Ooh, wow. That joint. We're near the end of it now. What do you think about it? How I'm admittedly pretty blitzed.
I'm very relaxed. I feel. I think my flavor is my favorite thing is the flavor. It makes me feel like this is a different experience than what I'm gonna usually get out of a different. Is that what is it?
Well, so apparently the terpenes are at 4.5%. That's pretty much the most information I can get without resorting to the internet. Apparently, there's like a website that has a patent on this joint. It's apparently a cannabis infused with distillate and terps, and it says that it's 630 milligrams of THC.
Well, it tastes
That's
great.
It does really taste well, especially at the end of it. Sometimes at the end of a joint or at the end of a blunt, even at the end of a glass piece, I like to smoke out of glass pieces most of the time. And at the end of a bowl, it's burnt. I'll just knock it out. I can knock it out, repack it, experience a much better flavor. I don't always need to go through that like very last little bit of the weed. Sometimes it tastes so poor, so bad, so burnt. I With this joint, I haven't really experienced that, and it kind of surprises me. I thought the end of this would be pretty terrible. This is mostly cardboard at the end of it. It's like any other like pre-roll I've ever had. I mean, it's just got the normal little cardboard filter at the bottom. I My God. This could be the best joint I've ever had. Like,
No, it's definitely up there for me.
yeah, it's, I mean, hey, sure. Usually the best joint I've ever had is attached to some sort of specific memory or feeling like, oh, I'm on top of a mountain. I'm swimming in the Pacific, or I'm camping somewhere magnificent, right? You know, in terms of just some random joint that I've ever had, this might be the best joint ever.
glad I got to share it with you, man.
Yeah, this is a terrific joint. Do you know how long we've been smoking this?
It feels like at least 40 minutes.
40 minutes. I think the clock is going at about. I think it's about 25.
It's only been 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's been about maybe a little less. It depends on when we exactly lit it up, but I think it's somewhere in the 25-minute range. The tape will tell. Was it 40 minutes or was it 25? Please, commenters, tell us which one of us was closer. We don't know.
I'm not good with numbers.
So, one of the things that really helped me get through Down the Long River was a strong sense of humor. And because it was such because it's a Western, right? Some of the aspects of some Westerns are a little presentational and close up and dramatic. And because of that, some of those elements have been sort of synthesized into comedy references. Some of them are so legendary. You know, they're even played for laughs in some movies like Back to the Future Part 1, Part 3, where Clint Eastwood is shown getting shot, but he reveals himself to be wearing a piece of armor that he gets from a common wood-burning stove. Marty McFly, spoiler alert, 20-year-old, 30-year-old movie. Oh, gosh. Spoiler alert. Marty McFly adopts that characteristic for a gunfight later in the movie, thus averting his death, allowing him to get the jump on his antagonist. So, through the movie Down the Long River, we had a lot of fun just joking around. And a lot of my jokes came from SNL-inspired humor. Um, Tanner, what are some of your favorite memories about SNL?
Oh my god.
You ever get stoned and watch SNL?
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Saturday
me too.
TV Funhouse?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring back my show.
Exactly. No.
What's coming up? What's going to happen now?
So they've had 3 anniversary specials: 50, 40, and 25. 25 is a work of art. I love it so much. It is, I think, it's the greatest mashup of what they had at the time. They were able to pay respects to the ones who had died. Beastie Boys performed with Elvis Costello.
Really?
Sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Original lineup.
Exactly. No.
The joke is that the Beastie Boys lineup never changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause Elvis Costello
So-
was just behind the whole thing. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that. No.
There you go.
What are some of the things you remember from the 40th anniversary? Do you remember anything? Oh
Yeah,
my God, that was a long time ago. Though.
I
Gosh,
I
it's tough.
don't remember caring for it. I know that Timberlake and Fallon opened the show. I know that Jim Carrey played Matthew McConaughey on a Celebrity Jeopardy. I know that Sandler and Sandberg did a song about breaking character. I could not tell you the rest.
Yeah, I remember that Justin Timberlake stuff felt a little played out.
I mean,
You know, even though it was 10 years ago.
I liked
but-
Omeletville at one point, but
Yeah.
you know, and props for Dick in a Box, but not my favorite.
Tanner, were you watching the Super Bowl when the infamous wardrobe malfunction happened with
Oh, yeah.
Justin Timberlake?
I do. I remember that day. I was like 9.
What kind of TV were you watching it on?
It was at my uncle's house, and for that time, it probably would have been one of those longer screen TVs that say that they're flat. It's kind of like this, just on a bigger scale.
I was watching it on like an old, curved TV. You know, a
Yeah, I
CRT,
remember those.
a big CRT television, cathode ray tube television, if you care about those things. And it wasn't like, well, we think of things in like 4K or 1080p or
No.
720p nowadays. That kind of television is 144p 144p. Go load up a YouTube video if you're curious and see if it gives you that option. Wow, you will not understand how unclear this was. Like we're like, what are you talking about? Who cares? We still don't understand why it was such a big deal. Like we're just sitting there watching like huh. And then it's over. And anyway, the game is back on. It was a good game.
It was a fun time for headlines because I was like, hey, I saw that on TV.
Yeah, even the next day we were like, why are people making such a big deal about this? I
Yeah,
felt
there's
like there
always got to be
wasn't even
something.
anything to see. I don't know. One of my favorite things about SNL is how they really go after people sometimes. Like like when they think something's funny, man, they are relentless about it. Some of my favorite segments of the last like 5, 10 years involve like the news. Okay, going after Colin, and when they joke swap. Okay, like oh my gosh. I mean, I
Ah,
understand that it's
man.
a bit, and I love how they have dissected this bit so well. Okay, like it's not
Yeah.
just it's not just that like oh they've written different jokes for each other. Tanner, what are some of the insights you've had to the comedic process as you've watched that sketch over the years grow into something else?
I like to see, and this will be really sad when Che and Joe stop, is that every year they try to up it. They try to up the stakes. They bring on new people so that there is this like third hand embarrassment that you're getting. Because Misery loves comedy, and to watch that poor man, I have to say those things, but for the best way to bring people together comedically on something heavy, I'm I'm happy that they try to make what could be bad a little bit more fun, and typically they do succeed.
Yeah, I sometimes I think that it's probably been rehearsed.
I mean,
You
maybe,
know,
probably.
if and if it has, that makes it even funnier to me because that means it's been happening like 2, 3, 4 times. Like they've really
I mean, you have dress rehearsals though.
agreed. Yeah, worked on like okay, not just that you hate me, but you know you you like really take it up a notch. And I I love the bits. I don't know. That's one thing about SNL that I've loved over the years is how the bits sort of mature over the years and up the intensity. What are some of your favorite bits over the years that kind of up the intensity?
Up
Maybe
the
even too
intensity.
much. Yeah.
I
Do,
don't know if they've ever gone to a place that I would consider too much right now. At least what I because I'll watch highlights more than anything. So cold open. Um, I think it was the end of this past season. Yeah. Sorry about that. I think it was the end of this past season that uh, James Austin Johnson. He's the guy that plays Trump. He openly admits he's like, well, it's the end of the season. You're gonna have to deal with the not fun version of any like. I like that he points that out. I like that he is one very good at his impression, but also kind of realizes that you can only make this so funny. And I'm glad that he's able to do that, even though we know it's not.
I'm looking for them to change the impression a little bit. I'm looking to see if they present him as a little more cognitively declined. He clearly is getting worse. His strange and odd statements have become even more odd and even more confused. He forgets names more regularly and seems to be succumbing to bribery at a much higher rate, or at least sycophancy. Like if you come in and you present him with some fake medal, you give him a patch that says he's an honorary federal marshal. He'll smile and then he'll give you the funding that you need, that you want, that you ask for, and it's probably helping. But it is a strange way to talk. And I'm looking forward to the way James will change over the years because I feel like he's sort of maybe been presenting Trump in maybe too nice of a way. Even with the way he interrupted the
The Passion Play.
yeah, the Passion of the Christ. Yes, I was struggling to get that out because how can I say this with a straight face? Mr. Lin-Manuel is just standing there.
Oh, the
Yeah,
the Hamilton
yeah.
ones.
The way he just like rattles it off too. It seems that's the way Trump talks. He rattles off a bunch of names.
And I don't know, like I'm always conflicted watching it too because I think I'm good for right now. Thank you though. I'm always conflicted because I'm like, obviously I don't like Trump, but when he makes it funny, I don't know. I have this struggle of like, I know I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is also kind of what comedy's for. It's to kind of make things a little bit better for a horrible situation if you can.
Yeah,
If you can.
yeah. Everyone needs a good laugh. It's
I know I love me one.
I
You're fine.
I don't know. I do not like Joe Rogan very much. Okay, a long time ago, I used to listen to Joe Rogan, and he started getting kind of weird around like 2015, 2016, where he's like, I don't want to get into it. It's just personally, I just don't agree with that kind of guy. And some people change, and they can still be funny. I just wish comedy, like, just because you can make a joke doesn't mean you should be taken seriously. And sometimes I feel like we make that mistake.
I don't know enough about Joe Rogan. I just know that he's said a couple things that, yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't like him after that. I also
Yeah.
didn't realize he was on the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, he was also on.
Fear Factor, right?
Yeah, but he was also on a show about oh, I don't know, it was some sitcom way back in the day. It he likes to make it out to be like super memorable, but it's a very typical like mid '90s sitcom, and that's just sort of the way those kind of things were back then. Like, how do you feel about the development of like the development away from monoculture? Like, did you watch what was the like last thing that you watched that you felt millions and millions of people were watching at the same time?
Oh, that would have been the ending to Game of Thrones. I
Yeah.
was behind for many years because I didn't really care at the time, and then I started to watch it, and I was watching it on and off for a while, and then you find out the date for the finale, and I'm like, okay, I want to be able to share this with people that have tried to get me into it, people that are into it now that I know that I can talk to them about. Like I want to share that moment with them, and yeah, we all had a great fun time for like 2 minutes, and we had a lot of broken hearts in the end,
Well,
frankly.
apparently about 19 million people watched that episode. I mean, that sounds like a lot, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
high number.
yeah, that was actually that would be low for a typical Thursday night must-see TV sitcom like Caroline in the City, Seinfeld, and what was it, Frasier? I think for a little while. No, that was CBS. I forget what the shows that follow Seinfeld are sometimes. But what I'm saying is, so many more people were watching TV back then. Do you feel like Game of Thrones was? Do you feel like we ever overestimate the influence and importance of Game of Thrones?
Overestimate it? I don't know. I think time will still tell on that because I think that while it really created this cultural phenomenon, that's the main reason why I wanted to watch it. I wanted to see what was it about this that everyone is gravitating towards. It's the same thing with Breaking Bad, um, and I got it. Like I really started to understand. Started to understand the frustrations that came with it too.
Mm.
So I think for now, I know maybe you can compare it to something like Dallas, where people were like, "Oh, who shot JR?" That was like the big talk of that time. But do people talk about that now? Do they, was it a popular enough show that people we'll keep talking about it later.
I was a kid at the time, pretty young, maybe about 6 or 7, and I remember people talking about it to the point where I was interested in finding out who shot JR.
Who shot JR?
Yeah, it was a fascinating like case study of like how deep and how much can they promote one question. And they rode that hype all through the off season, right up to the season premiere. And one of the weird things about Game of Thrones is that's not exactly where they've been going, what they've been foreshadowing. And I think a lot of us can agree that sometimes you just don't really stick the landing. Hey, a lot of the rest of the show's great, but well, they kind of messed up a little bit.
Who has a better story than Bran? I'm like, literally everyone's sitting around Bran.
I mean, one of the most interesting things about the final season is when the directors talk about the limits of human endurance. Okay, um, they had been shooting one of these night episodes for like 3 months. They talk about their schedule being 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day for 3 months, and like at the end of it, just like, well, this is as much as we can do. Um, During the course of Down the Long River, we shot in several different
Yep.
locations for a max of like 9 straight days in one location. And we went to an undisclosed location in nearby St. Louis to, let's see, this was what, 4 or 5 days there. And then we've had several days in like a farm in the winter. And then we shot in location in a town outside of Chicago near a river. I don't want to give too much away about what happens, but it is called Down the Long River. So this is a key important scene in Chicago that gathered up. Oh gosh, it was more than 5 actors. It was a very important day, and so over the course of Down the Long River, we've encountered the brutal limits of human endurance. Um, Tanner, you're seen wearing a suit in all these pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of suit was it?
Linen.
Linen? It was linen.
Yeah.
It looks so cool, dude.
It felt cool.
Yeah, it felt cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have. It helped that it was all white.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That hat. What'd you think of the hat?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. I've always been a hat guy. I like a good hat. And especially when it comes to, let's say, if you're doing other westerns or you're doing more of like, I don't know, a vaudeville thing, pirates, you want to have a cool hat. It makes you feel like you're a cool character.
Well, one of my favorite things about the movie is how some of the actors absolutely push themselves to the pure limit. Um, have you ever, like, in any of your previous films, been asked to do so much for like one particular role?
Um, yeah, there was this short film I did in college, um, and they were doing a time lapse shot. So they had me in one position for like 3 hours straight because they kept having to reshoot certain things, and because it's a time lapse shot, I think there were like 4 or 5 different things that the other actor in the movie was doing while I'm holding one position, and just
So
you get very stiff.
how still did you have to be? For
Um,
how long? 3 hours at a time?
Not at a time. I
What
think the
kind of
whole thing
break?
took like 3 hours.
Wow, three. Oh my goodness, dude. It sounds like so difficult. What a difficult exercise. What kind of like minutia were you working on, like in
Minutia.
terms of like, you know, I'm serious. Like how were you expecting to even?
Oh, I mean, it
I don't know.
hurt, but
Did you have an idea of like what the final product might look like? Is
oh,
there a place that like we can see
I
the
don't
final
know.
product? You know?
I know I have a file somewhere.
Yeah.
It was a good shot. There was a play I did where so my leg had to get amputated on stage, and there was so what happens before the leg gets amputated? It's me and two other actors, and it's a very specifically choreographed physical fight scene while I'm on the ground, because my character is drunk and knows that his leg has to be amputated. He's got gangrene. And so there was a lot of me having to crawl because the leg's not working. It's kind of being thrown around a little bit. I keep having to try to escape a lot. And the character keeps downing whiskey while doing this. So fast movements, and especially when like you do have other people just kind of grabbing at you, you do kind of get that feel of I'm something's getting done against my will. So that gets the heart racing a little bit. I think there was one night I kind of like threw the whiskey up a little bit. It was tea.
Oh my gosh.
And I have to bite down on this stick while obviously my leg isn't getting cut off, but it looks to the audience like it is.
Wow.
So it was just adrenaline on that, and we had to repeat it so many times to get a sound cue correct. And we were just sweaty.
Oh gosh, I can only imagine. Going through all those elements too, where they're like splashing water on your face. Everyone's so careful. Everyone wants to get it perfectly right to where you're comfortable, but you still have to look like you're uncomfortable. How long did some of those things take? What kind of chemistry did you have? How did you work on like developing that chemistry with the other actors?
The other actors? One of them was a classmate of mine. He's a really, really talented guy. His name's Nathaniel Washington. It was the first show I had done at school, and it's just us. It's just three characters: me, Nathaniel, and a guy named Jeff Gray. And our lines beforehand have a lot of chemistry, just because we're already established that. So what my character was, he was a Civil War Confederate captain who deserted his men. And this is at the tail end of the Civil War. So he crawls all the way home, leg isn't working, gangrene, and the only two people left are two of his house slaves. And they have a connection that
this is a play.
This is a play. Yeah, it's called The Whipping
Who's
Man.
The Whipping Man by?
Yeah. I don't remember the playwright's name.
Okay.
But they have a lot of built chemistry and respect for each other. That respect is questioned a lot throughout the show and just how far it actually goes. But there are times where they are chumming together. They share the same faith. They're all Jewish. We had to perform a Seder on stage. I got to learn how to do that. So that was really cool. But no, our characters establish a good chemistry, and it's my character deserted his men, and you're gonna find out later in the play more cowardly things that he did, and the idea of him losing his leg, even if it means saving his life, is like trying to get a kid to take medicine. That's the way that he kind of reacts.
I gotta ask you,
Mm-hmm.
Tanner, that 600 milligram joint that we smoked,
Yeah.
we stopped smoking it. How long? How long do you think it was that we stopped
20
smoking
minutes
it?
ago.
20 minutes ago. It was 25, pretty close.
All right,
Pretty
all right.
close. Pretty
Getting
close.
better with
Yeah,
numbers.
hey. You know. What kind of things did you do with some of the fellow actors in Down the Long River to develop chemistry with? Hey, you've worked with one of them before?
I've worked with Keith. Yeah, Keith and I did a radio play a couple years ago over at St. Louis NPR.
Which Keith is that?
Keith Nussbaum.
Does anyone, for those of you not familiar, Keith Nussbaum is a pretty significant actor in
Yeah, he
the
is.
St. Louis community. He has been in dozens and dozens of films. He's been through a lot. He's been in a lot of productions that have come through St. Louis. Chances are, if you see any movie that has someone kind of connection in St. Louis, there's a chance that Mr. Nussbaum might be in that movie. Mr. Nussbaum plays a critical role in Down the Long River. He plays a federal agent that is hunting the gang down. If you're still super interested in the movie, the synopsis, Tanner, do you want to read? Do you know the synopsis of the film, or would you like me to read it?
Go ahead and read it. You've got a smooth voice going.
Oh, I'm so stoned.
That too.
I am so blazed. I'm not sure I should be talking about anything. Down the Long River is a film about a gang of criminals, the Tom Sock gang, the notorious Tom Sock gang. They are camped outside of a small town in Missouri, waiting for a boat to deliver a shipment of gold. They're at the same time being hunted by a former gang member who is seeking his final revenge. And there's a federal agent that's also hunting the gang. The two of them team up, and in a very serious take on elements of a spaghetti western, these two opposing forces confront their personal demons for what may be the final time. We shot over, gosh, 3, 4, 6, we shot over like about 8 months for the film. Let's see, about 22 days. So we're looking for the release of the film in summer of 2025.
Yep.
As the assistant director, I have been lucky enough to see 2 rough cuts of the film. Tanner, have you seen any rough cuts of the film? Have you seen any footage of the film?
When the trailer dropped, I smiled a lot.
Yeah, that was
That was.
yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it's incredible,
I'm
right?
so excited.
Yeah. I can assure you the rough cuts of the film I've seen are absolutely out of this world. I am so excited to see all the elements continue to come together. Um, there are so many elements that are required for producing a film, especially something with this level of safety and this many gunshots. So, as the film continues to be completed, I am just overjoyed at just the blood, sweat, and tears that is going on behind the scenes, continuing to make this movie happen through the course of production. It is something I am not personally involved with now. My role as the assistant director was largely pre-production and on set. Once we really finished with most of those things, I'm not really coordinating and assisting in certain aspects of the film because, well, that's just you kind of don't really need me at that point. But at some point, Mr. Guerin is going to be called in to do some ADR on his dialogue.
Right. I keep forgetting
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Yeah. Do you remember some of the days where a plane would fly overhead?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Like an odd amount from where we were shooting.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Even in the most isolated and desolate of places, it seems like there's almost always a plane ride, you know? So, Mr. Guerin, we're coming into about our last 5, 6 minutes here. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you this last hour.
Thank you.
Sharing this joint has just been absolutely incredible. It really has. And, you know, talking about Down the Long River with someone who is actually there, it feels like 2 old war buddies who have met up and are having a joint, instead of having a beer.
Hey man, that's showbiz a lot of the time too. When you get to know, when you get to work with a lot of the same people again, I do, I do a lot of theater. I'm hoping that we're gonna be doing more film.
Yeah, what kind of projects have you like, maybe been hearing about? Is there anything you have maybe on the horizon, maybe
Yeah,
coming up?
I'm actually in a play right now. I think it's the first drama I've done since the Whipping Man. It's by Lynn Nottage. It's going to be at the Florissant Performing Arts Center the first and second weekend of October.
Wow, that's the first and second weekend of October. What's the name of the play?
Sweat.
Sweat. Can we get a little synopsis of the play or maybe your
Yeah, it's
character?
about a small town in Pennsylvania. It's right at the late 90s to early 2000s. And some folks are working at a steel plant. They start to learn that they're going to start to lose their jobs to they're going to be losing their jobs to Hispanics and immigrants. I play the one Hispanic role, and I go after one of those jobs, and hijinks ensue.
Hijinks? Okay. All right. Hey, this sounds like a laugh riot. Um, how long have you been rehearsing?
A couple weeks now.
Wow, gosh. And so it's the first week, and then second weekend of October.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that 7 or 8 o'clock both nights?
7:30 on the nights. There's a Sunday matinee. On the
Sunday
second
matinee,
weekend.
what, 2 o'clock? And the Sunday matinee is at 2 o'clock, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Right on, man. Well, hey, I hope everyone who listens to this can maybe come out and see it. Tanner Guerin is a magnificent actor. Well, I think we might as well just go ahead and conclude here with the marijuana minute.
Thanks for having me today, Marshall.
Yeah,
This was
so-
awesome, man.
So here on the in the final minute of the podcast, Tanner, I'd like to ask you something. Is that joint really 600 milligrams?
I'm gonna say it's right up there.
Yeah, is it-
in some capacity?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty strong, huh? Yeah, I really liked every second of it. Yum yum.
That was fun.
Yeah, I would
It
definitely
was yummy.
I would definitely buy one, get one again. I would definitely use that again. That is about as stoned as I've ever been. Hey, so this has been High Off the Glass. Thanks for letting me, the gambling guru, be your host and guide for this last hour or so. As we traverse down memory lane of listening to Down the Long River, we heard stories of Tanner Guerin and his mysterious character, Emil Flores. Next year, you'll see the movie. I'll be on the show to hype it up, and maybe he'll be back. I hope everyone has a good weekend
Thank you, Gigi.
and even better week. Thank you. Okay, so it's pause, and then I hit stop. Oh, outro music. Oh. Oh no.